For the last several videos, we've been looking at the love of Jesus, and we looked at the greatest commandment where Jesus said, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment, and the second is like unto it. This is Matthew chapter 22, verse number 39, to love thy neighbor as thyself. And so God calls us to love our neighbors in the same way that he's called us to love God. With a unconditional love. But we live in a world where comparison is what we do. We focus on things like who has the newest car, who has the latest technology, who has the biggest house, and who has the best paying job. But even within the church world, we do the same thing. We tend to compare things. Who knows the Bible the best? Who's the most faithful to church? Who seems to have it all together? Who has served the most or served the longest? And we all struggle with valuing people based on a conditional view. Many lists are based on personal preferences and opinions and may vary from person to person. But when Jesus speaks, especially when he's asked to list the most important commands, he speaks truth. Jesus gave a list when he was asked by the Pharisees and the Sadducees to name the greatest commandment, and the greatest commandment was summed up in 4 words: love God, love people. The religious Jews had made it a habit to only love those who they considered holy, those who they would stick to, that they saw stick to the strict adherence to the law. They had learned to despise those who were anything less than their righteousness in their eyes. And they hated anyone who was not a Jew like them. But when Jesus came to earth as a man and he started his ministry with his disciples, he flipped the script. He flipped the norm of that Jewish society, and he broke down walls of division between mankind. He came to change the world and to offer his love and salvation to everyone, and it's what God has called us to do. Jesus said in Luke 4:18, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and the recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised. Jesus summed up the whole picture of the Bible in 4 words: to love God and to love others. We need to stop with the comparison. The Bible even warned us. He said that those who compare themselves among themselves are not wise. We need to learn to love like Jesus loved and love our neighbors as we love ourselves. And just like we were called to love God with everything, God calls us to love people with everything. Let's work on that. It's something we all need. Learn to love God and to love people. God bless.